ADR, this is King Black coming at y'all from the chateau again, and I wanted to touch on this whole border patrol, talking about how they've caught at least 7 MS-13 members and a couple 18 streeters trying to cross into the U.S. illegally with this whole or open border situation seemingly that we have now, right? With all of these immigrants crossing over. I don't know if y'all heard about those 90 people caught at a Houston home. Like, that's crazy. And it wasn't all females. I think they said out of all 90, only about 5 were females, the rest were males. That's some crazy stuff. But, anyways, let's talk about this MS-13 18th Street and how it affects things in the South and the Southeast, and even in some cases the Midwest. So, you know, MS-13 and 18th Street crossing into the U.S. illegally isn't necessarily anything new. It's been something that's been occurring for a while, since basically the deportation started, right? Um, but with this whole recent immigration wave of thousands of immigrants trying to make their way into the U.S., with the hopes that Biden is going to go ahead and let them stay. You have these banned felons trying to come back in that belong to these organizations. And anybody who's messed around with MS-13 knows that they can be quite, the violent organization, comparable to the cartels in a sense. Whereas they'll take it as far as they gotta go without thinking about the big picture or the consequences. So let's talk about what it means on the streets if more of the MS-13 starts rolling into the U.S. For those organizations that deal with things that I don't preach about and that I don't advocate, you're going to see a lot more pressure on plugs, right? Y'all going to see a lot more violence hit the streets. Y'all going to see a lot more hits being taken out, right? Not something that sounds all too sweet. Doesn't sound like something too uh, grand to think about, but it's shit that it's going to go down. Especially when it comes to organizations like MS-13. I don't know if y'all remember the case of the MS-13 members taking out one of their own that was pregnant. You know what I'm saying? To them, it ain't nothing. So, with this influx of MS-13 and 18th Street, which already right there, they're rivals amongst themselves. Ain't nothing too secret. It ain't like I'm spilling my guts out here. Something that y'all can easily go ahead and Google, right? So, MS-13 coming in, especially with one of their highest ranking recently getting caught up in Virginia on the East Coast. They're going to be trying to put their foot down hard. And if they're coming in illegally, it's kind of like, how do you trace a gun that's bought under the table? You know what I'm saying? It's hard to, there's no paper trail. So the same thing with these people coming into the U.S., right? They can slip across the border, do what they got to do, and nobody's going to be the wiser unless they get caught, right? So it's going to get hot. That's my prediction, man. In these southern states, in the southeast, and parts of the Midwest, where MS-13 was behind some of the connections, you're going to see that being pushed harder now. You're going to see them trying to move into more territory now, right? And then I've told you before, how I move within my region, right? How my region moves. We're not touching most of the rackets that, other organizations are involved in. Like I told you, our goal, at least in my localized area, is to keep everybody out. You know what I'm saying? Trying to do the right thing, try to live right, represent, keep things out of our territory, but at the same time, live up to what values our organization started on, right? But all of y'all out there and all of my people in my organization aren't living 100% innocently, and I know that, and I recognize that, and I'd be naive and dumb not to recognize that. All I'm saying is, with MS-13 members filtering in through south of the border, ain't nothing new, but they're making a renewed push into the U.S. because we got so many people trying to cross. So they're taking their chances, trying to get, a few hundred in. And a few hundred don't sound like much. But when it comes to the world that I move in, you could do a lot with a few hundred people at your disposal, especially with the organization like MS-13 that, they almost got no limits. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't matter who you're with. It doesn't matter if you're with your newborn baby. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, 9 times out of 10, MS-13 members going to take their chance with you, right? If they got beef. So, ain't much, man, that the Border Patrol is going to be able to do to stem this influx of people. You know what I'm saying? They already got orders to stop building the wall. And then on top of that, you're dealing with all these thousands of kids being brought over. So attention is elsewhere. Attention is on what the public is worried about. It ain't worried about what's going on in the streets right now. I don't know if y'all been paying attention to see how many shootings are happening now on an almost daily basis. Every time I look, there's like 10, 15 shootings went down. 5 people shot, 10 people shot, 4 people killed, 3 people killed. Kids are hit. Man, this is getting crazy out there. With the more vaccines that are coming out, people are feeling, comfortable stepping back out. So a lot of people that have been talking a lot of stuff during the quarantine, some people have long memories, and if they ain't got long memories, they can sure as heck go back through their feed and see who was talking smack. And unfortunately, a lot of things are going down, which is why I always preach always staying ready too, right? You can't be caught lacking because it'll come at the most unexpected time. When you're leaving the store, when you're with your family, with your kids, with a girlfriend or whatever, your significant other, your grandma, it don't matter. When the other person's intention is clearly to get you, they don't care who else is around you as long as it can get to you, right? So, yeah, I predict these next few months is going to be a hot summer, and not like that song by Lil Rob, Summer Nights. Them nights are going to be long, but not for a good reason. They're going to be long because there's going to be an influx in organization violence coming down the pipeline. You've had a lot of bad blood building over the past year in quarantine, and now you got people coming in that want to take care of business and settle some old scores, and it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better. Y'all just stay safe. Y'all be safe out there. Just like I always try to be safe. But it's another reason not to get involved in some of the stereotypes of being a gang member, bro. Because you got 12-year-old kids out here trying to make a name for themselves that ain't scared to pull a trigger. And it don't matter if you're 30, 40, 50, 20. Bullets don't care. Bullets don't discriminate. Bullets don't have a name. If they think they can get at you, you're not going to be looking for a 12-year-old. You know what I'm saying? You're probably not going to pay attention to the 12-year-old. I pay attention to everybody. Because I know some of the dirty tricks people play. Sending out crash dummies. And unfortunately, MS-13, they use a lot of crash dummies. 13, 14, 15-year-old second generation immigrants, or first generation immigrants coming in and say, yo, take care of business, make a name for yourself. You're not going to be out there looking for a sixth grader to pop off on you. But when you live in this lifestyle, especially if you got tattoos or you're wearing your colors, you gotta always be on point. Ain't no sense of joining an organization if you ain't prepared to defend yourself when a rival comes at you. Even though I'm living, you know, as innocent as I possibly can, that doesn't make me immune from the bullshit. Especially when I go outside of my local area. When I reach out to different cities or I'm out in different spots, I gotta always, if I'm wearing colors or even with my tattoo in certain spots, I gotta recognize there's people that are gonna look at it, not know what my tattoo is, and then you're gonna have people that know, even though my shade ain't the normal shade people look for, but they're gonna have some little question marks. And then it's really up to them if they're going to take that extra step and verify. But at the end of the day, man, putting in over a decade and a half into being a king, man, I moved past that, mentality of I see blue, so I need to go ahead and go holler at this person, right? I gotta go start some shit. But bro, if I'm out there trying to put gas and I see a MS-13 member or I see a Crip member or something, my main mindset isn't to go start some shit. Because you know what? I ain't involved in the same shit that they are in. And whether they see me, my colors, and they want to start something, that's on them. My eyes, I'm still watching them because you always got to be on point. But I'm not going to purposely be the aggressor, right? Because where I'm at and the people I associate with, it's all about maintaining civility and staying out. I lose nothing but freedom if I act out of impulse or just jump off on some color stuff. You know what I'm saying? As long as they're not slinging in my territory, as long as they're not, starting no direct beef with my organizations, whatever's going on behind the scenes, politics I'm not going to get into, then I don't care where I see them at in a public space. It could be the mall, man. I'm out there shopping, they shopping. There's no reason for no beef, even though some of these young ones want to take it there. And it's unfortunate, man, because that's how people get caught up. And then you're serving 10 years for something that should have never happened. Just because they felt like they had to do something in a mall, in a crowded place with a bunch of people, But anyways, that's neither here nor there. The whole purpose of this is touching on the whole MS-13 stuff that's going on. 18th Street, I've seen some 18th Street, not in this area, but definitely down in Texas and parts of Oklahoma. Definitely Cali. But where I'm at, not necessarily. Nah. Here you would see MS-13 before you see any 18 streeters out here. But in any case, man, you ain't gotta worry about it if you ain't living that life, right? If you're a neutron, if you're neutral, you ain't rocking no colors, you ain't gotta worry about it. And if you're rocking colors, it's just something for you to think about, especially if you're out there in them streets. Just be careful, because there's gonna be hundreds of MS-13s out there that weren't there before, and they're gonna slowly filter out. They're gonna be in the south, and they're gonna filter up to Chicago, and they're gonna filter out to the east, Georgia, Florida, North Carolina, parts of VA, maybe even DC. So y'all just be with y'all weather eye in the horizon, alright? ADR, this is King Black.